Peace. Kofa, G.R.O.W.T.H podcast. Wake your glass up. Happy Friday, Junior, y'all. I hope y'all had a good Friday, Junior. It is Thursday, May 10th. May 11th. I'm a day behind. On the right day, on the wrong date. Today is May 11th, 2023. The time is now 7 o'clock. I appreciate everybody being in the chat. Corey Joe, Chelsea, Broker Traditions. Appreciate everybody checking in early. Y'all already know the housekeeping rules. I'm not going to shake my tin cup a lot, but you see the Cash App, you see the PayPal. Donate if you want to, but at the least, wipe your feet when you come in my house. Hit the like button. As you come in, make sure you uppercut, rock bottom, suplex, body slam that like button. If I got to earn your subscription, if you're a new listener, I respect that, but make sure you at least give your boy that free like. Hit the subscribe button as well. If you like the content, give me some feedback. Go to my about section, shoot me an email for likes, comments, concerns, all that jazz. What you did like, what you didn't like, what I could switch up. I'm an open book. I like taking in information. I appreciate everybody being in here. Again, this is G.R.O.W.T.H podcast. I'm your host, Kofa. Make sure my levels is right. Cool. I'm your host, Kofa. I'm gonna tell you why I did that. I'm your host, Kofa. Kofa, not coffee, not Kufu, not Kofi, Kofa. It rhymes with sofa. This is G.R.O.W.T.H podcast. Growth stands for gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing. I appreciate everybody being there. I'll tell you why I took that quick pause a second, because my last live, I was talking for like 5 minutes straight, gave a dope ass intro, and my mic was muted. I'm sitting here, and I guess y'all, I'm guessing I was thinking y'all could read lips, because my mic was muted last time. But I appreciate everybody being in here. You see the thumbnail, the elders versus the olders. As I've told some people about the live tonight, there's a difference. We have people in the same age group giving contradictory advice concerning relationships, male-female dynamics, things of that nature. I put a poll in the chat, so kindly, click on it. Give me an answer. Give me the feedback that you've experienced. I want to know your personal experience. Let's interact in the chat. I'm going back and forth between the reaction videos and the chat. What's going on, Royalty? See you in here, sis. Appreciate you. Going back and forth between the reaction videos. Of course, as always, I'm going to pause and get my feedback on it. Go back to the chat, get some of your feedback. But there is a poll, like I said, it's at the top of the chat. Have you gotten contradictory advice from older people in the same age group concerning relationships, male-female dynamics, parenting, things of that nature? Two ladies on the thumbnail are two of my favorites. I know some people give Iyanla Vanzant a lot of pushback, but I really respect the sister's work. I love her. Shout out to Auntie Iyanla. Shout out to Auntie Shahrazad. I appreciate both of their work. I'm going to show the clip from the G.R.O.W.T.H show. I believe it was back in the late 80s. May have been the early 90s, because Shahrazad Ali had that book, The Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman. It was controversy during that time. It still is. It's basically the same talking points we have on YouTube today. So unfortunately, a lot of stuff hasn't changed. But first things first, I'm going to start with that 70s clip with Nikki Giovanni. And Jesus, the brother's name just escaped me. Somebody drop it in the chat. Just had a brain fart. But I'm going to show that clip. What happened in the 80s, around the time Shahrazad Ali was on her tour and pushing the book. And then we're going to go to some of those clips and bring it forward to now, 2023. Some of the comments, again, that Ebony K. Williams made. We're going to talk about that because, again, it's bigger than her. But it's such a hyped up conversation. And the reason why it's a conversation, because it's happening in real life. The dynamic between black-female relationships, period, are terrible. As people always say, there's piss in the dating pool. Time to get out the pool if that's how you look at it. Again, I'm in my tiger phase. I'm enjoying myself. When I want to date, I do. When I don't, I'm on my monk shit. I'm focused, kind of like I am right now. James Baldwin. Thank you, Broker Traditions. I don't know why I did that. Dead said anime. Brother, man, you get this.
Another three ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Shout out to Dead Set Anime. This is another brother I met over on Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's channel. when we were talking about the experiences that both of us has had, and a couple of other brothers as well have had with domestic violence, and being a man on the receiving end of different accusations or physical and verbal abuse in the home. So it's not just the ladies. So this is some of the content that Shahrazad Ali was able to base her book off of, because again, my belief is art imitates life. A lot of people have flip-flopped that, especially with social media nowadays. They want to say that, you know, everybody's trying to act like what they see on TV or social media, but a lot of this stuff is actually going on in real time, in real life, in the real world. There's no land of make-believe here. This stuff is going on, and that's why we have these conversations. That's why we have books and movies and things like that. But let me get over here to these comments. Y'all coming in early with it. I appreciate it. Y'all uppercutting the like button. Again, peace to Chelsea, peace to Corey. Broker Traditions in here. Royalty, I appreciate you being in here again, sis. Salute to Delisha, appreciate you being here. Dead said again, brother, appreciate you stepping in. Yeah, we reversed it. We reversed it and remixed it. Art imitates life. So all the stuff that we're seeing on the social media, it's because it's happening. I just had a discussion with my brother, my cigar brother Ty, this often in here in the chat as well. We were talking about how that push on social media has so many people confused, but guess what? It's real. We talked about some of these skits that people are doing on social media where they're arguing about, you know, who's gonna feed the kids, or is the guy just gonna bring McDonald's just for his kids? Y'all remember that one from a couple of months ago. But even if they are skits, as Dr. T.S. Johnson pointed out, and it made me think, even if they are skits, this is somebody's story. They were able to come up with the skit because they've probably seen it happen. Even if those people didn't interact with that situation in their personal life, they know someone that has. So we're gonna go ahead and get into these videos. But again, I played this one before, but I think it's so critical to kind of keep replaying this because it's so short, but it's to the point, because we're going from 1972 to 1986 when I was 4 years old. Now I'm a 41-year-old man, and we're still having some of these same conversations. But for those that haven't seen it, this is Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin having a discussion about black male and female relationships and who should be leading the community at the time. Let's go.
Change as a black woman, because there was a time, let's say my mother, you know what I mean, my aunts and things like that, they would say, okay, if that's the way you establish your manhood, I'm going to go for it. And my generation says, hey, no good. Okay. You must establish a new base.
I'll agree with that.
And we are, as a group, demanding that a new base be established. Why can't we try it my way?
Later.
25 years ago, the strong family was still the backbone of black America, and 3 out of 4 children had both parents at home. That is true no longer. Most black children are now growing up without their fathers. Single women and the children they're rearing alone are the fastest growing part of the black population. Why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down, because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. Male figures are not substantially important in the family.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
I beg your pardon. Now look where we're at in 2023. Again, this is 1972, and when I listened back to that clip between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin, I didn't notice it before, but Brother James was like, okay, I can agree with that. It's so many men during that period that just didn't want to fight anymore. And I'm not saying like not fight for your people, but didn't want to fight with the women anymore, because it was the new women's liberation, things they wanted to try, going to school and working and things like that. And let me explain something about our history. I've said it before, I'm going to keep repeating it. I was woke before the sun got up. So I know the history of our people in this country. I know the history of our people, you know, roughly back in the motherland. There was never a time that black women didn't work. So this stereotype, this idea that black men have, you know, some issue with black women working and, you know, stepping outside the home and doing things like that, it's a lie. While the men went out to hunt, let's take it back to the motherland. When the men went out to hunt, the women were going down to the river to get water, to cook later on for what that man damn near sacrificed his life for, to go have to fight with a lion to kill a caribou or a antelope or whatever they were going to bring home that night, to feed the village. And the men went out there together in brotherhood. The women went down to the river in sisterhood. There was a balance. That shit is out of place now. Now we have this stereotype that black men are supposed to have this issue with black women working. It's never been your work. It's never been about how much more money you made, so to speak, but it's the attitude that comes with it. You take one bad dude that a lot of women have experience with, because again, there'll be multiple women for one dude. So now you got 5 women with this poor experience, and they want to bring it back and put it on the majority of black men, and that's not the case. It never has been. Get over here to the comments. Just says Umar, man, I had to snatch one. Snatch that one. Chelsea, I beg your pardon. Corey Joe says, if James Baldwin said something crazy, it's speculated he was gay. Broker Tradition says, I might have to cam up on this. Brother Phil, welcome. Again, those that want to cam up, the link is at the top of the chat above the poll. Let me check the poll real quick as y'all come in. Have y'all hit it? I don't even think I hit it. Let me see. If it'll open for me. There you go. There. Got 100%. I don't know how many. Oh, I got 7 votes. Everybody says so far. How many people I got watching right now? 6 of us in here. It's floated up to like 9, 10. We got 7 votes. Got 100% yes. I know I have. I don't even think I've hit it. Could I? Nope. That's for y'all. All right, cool. But yeah, Broker Traditions and anybody else, the link to the interview button is pinned to the top. Just cam up for me. At least cam up on the back end and let me know that you're a real person. You're not on some troll type of bullshit. But just do that for me. If you don't want to cam up on YouTube, that's fine. But at least let me see your face on the back channel. Let me keep going. Broker Tradition says, do remember James Baldwin. He was gay or bisexual or whatever that was that he claimed to be sexually, whatever his sexual preference was. I really don't care because, again, he was a fighter for our people. He did have that passion and love for black people being better at the time. So regardless of his sexual orientation, he was a man that did the work, that was having a conversation. And a lot of men back then, straight to the guys at the factory coming home, just too tired to work. Just too tired to fight. Let me check something real quick, y'all. I was trying to download another video. I wanted to make sure that I got in here. I don't know if it's still downloading. Give me one quick second. Circle, 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 blue circle of death. I'm gonna leave that window open just in case it does download and I can sneak it in later on. But let me see, am I freezing? Am I good? Okay, still got a good connection. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't using up too much computer power. And I might be, so let me go ahead and close that. That's okay. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me close some of these other windows. Because I think we do have enough content to rock tonight. Again, I appreciate everybody being in here. But that's the baseline. So we got 1972 again to 1986. This is roughly around the time Shahrazad Ali, maybe a couple years later, started, running her interviews across the nation and having discussion about the book. And everybody wanted to focus so much on that part in there about, about her putting in there, if the black woman's getting jazzed at the mouth and just don't know how to shut up ever, the black man has a right to, backhand her in the mouth. Not saying I agree with it, but I'm not going to disagree with it either. Having a conversation with my mama. Shout out to my mama again. Where my button at?
You go, girl!
Again, I just found out my mom listens to my channel, and everybody found that funny when I was telling them. But shout out to my mama. But something she was telling me, unfortunately, she doesn't agree with domestic violence and all that stuff either. But it's so many women that mouth. And it's not just the talking back, the being loud, disrespectful. The lies that are put on a lot of black men a lot of time, that will flip a dude to flipping out. or doing something that he's never done. I shared the story with y'all with me and my ex. Never put my hands on a woman before, never did it after. That's not who I am. But that night, as a 26-year-old hothead, I lost my cool. And again, I had kept my cool for so long and dealt with so much bullshit, but that was the particular night that I was like, not again. But unfortunately, that could have went totally different for me. By the grace of God, I'm still here, still have a career. If that would have went the way it's gone for so many other men, no military, probably no Kofa here speaking to you guys, getting the information from you guys, because y'all share with me, y'all teach me as well. So I'm hoping you're learning something by being on this channel. Let me see. Got some more people coming in. Peace, Eric Jordan, brother. I appreciate you, man. Hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't already. V Bean Israel, appreciate you checking in, good brother. Passport OG, salute, bro. I see you in the chat. I think on Obsidian's channel and some other brothers' channel, man. I appreciate you being in here. Dead Set says Baldwin's sexuality had little to do with his blackness. Very little. Blackity black. Brother was solid. Chelsea said, that's what's up. But now let's get over here into this G.R.O.W.T.H video, and this portion of the G.R.O.W.T.H video, because there was like 4 parts chopped up on YouTube, fair use by the way, but 4 parts chopped up on YouTube. I picked this particular part because Shahrazad Ali was barely speaking in this part. This is when the audience was reacting to her, and I want y'all to see those dynamics. This is why I put that poll in the chat of, have you seen the contradictory, information, between the older generation. That's why I put there's an elder, there's an older. Some people are going to tell you go out there, live your life, damn near do the same mistakes that they've done. And then you're going to have people like Shahrazad, like, we got to fix this. And even what Iyanla ended up becoming. Again, I'm going to stop it a couple of times so we can discuss. I'm going to peep over to the chat. Y'all keep engaging. I'm going to keep looking over. Let me get this one last comment, and then we're going to go over that. Go over to the video. Corey Joe says, I only say that because if he yielded to an obvious concern with our women, this may render a bias in the conversation, not taking anything from his work. True, and I respect that, Corey. But again, like I said, regardless of his sexuality, there were straight as an arrow black men that were like, okay, we can try it. Because remember, in the 60s is when they started pushing black men out the home. So this is 1972 during that interview. Some men were tired of trying to fight the system and argue with their woman, because by then black women had started getting a check and getting some better jobs, I'll say. Because again, black women have always worked. Say this, then get to the video. There was never a time a black man was hung and a black woman wasn't swinging beside him. There was never a time a black woman was raped and a black man wasn't bent over a barrel, also getting raped. That's where we get the term being bent over a barrel from. But anyways, let's get to the video.
Avenues that the black man can do when he's upset with his woman.
Real quick, this is high as the volume goes. I apologize. I've tried to fix it without distorting it, but this is high as it goes. But I think it's good enough where you guys will be able to hear and decipher what's being said.
So you can't just take that point.
Identify yourself and tell me if you believe it's an option that's viable.
Elsie Washington, senior writer at Essence Magazine. No one has the option to hit me in the mouth or anything else. May I say,
I'm not suggesting that someone has an option to hit you in the mouth, but
not even a right, not even anything. No one at all.
It was one of 6 points that the black man could take in his address. Now, that doesn't mean that he has to take it, but
I'd like to say
the doctor cited a point that there is this progression of black
I'd like
women
to say,
coming
black men, my brothers, do not buy this book and think that you're going to use this as a blueprint for healing our nation.
Not doing that.
Talk to us. Don't read this book.
Black
Talk
men
to
are not
us.
doing that. I think most of the problem is that most of the sisters has not read the book.
Yeah, I think many have.
Yes.
I think many have.
My name is
It's
Sato
misguided.
Rande, and I like to say thank you for writing the book. And with my encounters, experiences with women, I have not found most of what you have depicted, but I don't pre-conclude that it does not exist. And what I would like to say to you is that we are all victims of white supremacy in some shape, form, or fashion. And somehow, as we move toward the 21st century, dealing with conspiracies of AIDS and all the types of devices that are out there, we have to have a forum where we come together and talk out our differences. And we're not going to be able to solve this in this 1 hour.
I believe that Shahrazad Ali specifically, if not exculpates, says enough of blaming whites. Let's deal with the problem ourselves. And I think in that sense... Wait, stand up and tell me, and identify yourself and tell me why you agree.
Excuse me. My name's Calvin Gooding. I listen all the time about people talking about white folks have done this to us. This is what we do continually when we talk about what white folks have done to us. We empower them to continue to control our situation. What we have to cease doing is empowering them and saying, we will have self-determination. That is, in any forum. And let me say this, I don't agree with everything you have to say, but if your intention was to create a forum where we could talk about our differences, I salute you. Okay? All right.
Yes, my name is Gloria Doolin Wilson, and I'm
gonna pause it there real quick. Notice how so many people are, well, specifically the sister was focused on the striking your woman to get some control back or something of that nature in the book. The other brother spoke to, that was one of 6 options. One. But it's crazy how we hyper focus on such of the, the most negative option when there are other options. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to review the book. I do have the book. I've skimmed through it. I've read it here and there, but straight through I haven't. But I think it's time to re-review the book and have a full-on live and discussion about Shahrazad Ali's book, because here it is 40-some years later and we're still discussing it. But listen to some of these points that a lot of these people are making. Remember, we were kids then, those in my age group. I'm 41. So these were our aunts, our uncles, all the old heads back then, but they're at the age then that many of us are at now. And just listen to the back and forth ping pong match of discussion of black female relationships, and we're still having them today. That's what kind of shook off my fear with coming into the YouTube space. I was like, man, this is just talk radio. That's all it is. It's talk radio. It's a talk show. That's what, shout out to Kevin Samuels. He recognized that, and that's when he started making his pivot and his change. This is just talk radio. It's just a talk show. And the audience is you guys in the chat. I'm looking over this way because that's where my screen is. You guys in the chat are the audience, having your comments. And now I got to play Geraldo, so to speak, and just corral that and get everyone's ideas and opinions and try to inject that in so we all can just make simplistic sense of this. But another thing I wanted to point out, look how everybody is dressed. You're going to see some people in more African garb and things of that nature, but you see the suits, you see the ladies in the dresses, carrying themselves, agree or disagree, with so much dignity when this conversation is going on. However, the time has changed. And now, even though this is talk radio and a talk show, look at the disrespect that's online. But keep in mind, this was on national TV at the time. So maybe they were cognizant of that and they kept their niggardry under control. But let's get back to the conversation because it's interesting what this sister says. Peace, what's going on, Gail?
You go, girl!
statewide coordinator for the New York State African American Political Action Committee. I would like to say, first of all, black men and black women have to be complementary to each other. There cannot be this kind of antagonism that you've engendered as a result of your book. I have to compliment your publicist for getting this out here. Because it's the biggest, no, publicist.
I'm my publicist.
Well, then congratulations, my dear, because you have perpetrated a wonderful hoax, but you have gotten us to talk. Educate your mind and deal with black familyhood, can get the book by Hakeem Madhubuti. Black men utterly single and dangerous, and read it and apply it. This woman has no solution. She has no solution, but she has antagonism, and that's why we're here.
Go. Yeah. Hello, my name is Osei. I think one of the problems that's not being dealt with is a lot of personal venting, all right? That when we understand relationships grow out of families. The structure of the black family has changed, all right? One of the positive things about the book, if there are any positive things, is that the book opened up a forum. Because you have to understand, too, how can someone write a book, self-published, is not promoted by any or major publishing company in New York, right? And made such a social impact that the educated class has not been able to do.
Abiola, tell us how she has managed to do it. How has she managed to make this a platinum bestseller on her own?
Well, it's when she attacks the least able to defend themselves, that is a black woman. When she attacks the bottom rung of the bottom rung of society and labels them as the scourge of humanity, of course that's going to cause a controversy. And any controversy is food for the media. As a media critic, I'm very much aware that anything that creates a stir, a flurry, a controversy is food for the media.
But Playfell, there are other controversies.
Pause it right there. Notice what sis said. She was speaking about black women as if they were the bottom of the bottom rung, is what she said. Her words, not mine. Black women, we have never looked at y'all like that. Never looked at y'all like that. And those handful of dudes that talk like that, fuck them. But we've never looked at y'all like that. But that self-loathing, that self-reflection, because we don't have what white people have. This is why when the brother was speaking about, oh, you know, we got to remember how we've been living under white supremacy. I told y'all my feelings about that. I hate the fucking term white supremacy. If you're going to use it, black people, I ask you, please say the idea of before you say white supremacy. The idea of white supremacy, cool. Because when you start saying white supremacy, again, this is just a Kofa-ism. You're putting it out to the atmosphere. You're almost admitting that white people are superior. You can't use the term white supremacy, say they're superior, and then talk about black people being gods. The two don't correlate. And we wonder why our people are so mixed up and confused. It's the words we use. Again, your thoughts become your words become your actions become your character. So when the brother said it, I didn't like that. I didn't agree with this sister just particularly saying that black women are the bottom rung of the bottom rung of the bottom rung. And everybody wants to quote Malcolm when he said that black women were the least protected. That doesn't make sense. Sorry, Malcolm, RIP, love his work, love the brother. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. The black man is the most disrespected and least protected because guess what? When something happens to us, it's easier to take over the community, which is why we're at where we're at now. Let me get over here to these comments real quick. It was one I saw. Kill Hall. He said she apologized. I'm not sure who you mean by she, but possibly Shahrazad Ali. But if you could just put a little bit more context in there for me. If you want to come up, brother, the interview link is pinned to the top of the chat. Get over here to the next comment. Chelsea said that she's going to check out the book. Her and Gail were having a dialogue. Corey Joe again says fair use. Yes. Eric says man woman was hating. Leave the sister alone, bro. We're gonna be cordial tonight. We're gonna let them have it, then we'll discuss it. Gail put the link to the book in the chat. Get the book, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man. I think I had it reversed earlier when I said the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. Let's see. Gail says, right, no race is supreme to me and mine. Facts. We're the first people here. And we're still here. Most people on the earth look like us. Told y'all, Kofa was woke became a thing. I was woke for the sun got up. Appreciate it, Gail.
You go, girl!
And again, the link to the book, to purchasing the book, is in the chat. Let's get back to the video. I just wanted to stop it there because I hate those terms when we use them and we think we're sounding so woke, again, or conscious. Back in the day, that was the word before woke. But we say these things about ourselves, and then we wonder why our communities begin to look like what they begin to look like based off of, again, the Nikki Giovanni, James Baldwin conversation. Then those young ladies that would have been older cousins, older sisters in the early mid 80s. Then we get to the older group, these people in here having a conversation. I'm sure they're in their 30s and 40s at the time, and they're still having bantering back and forth. Behind this book, they had a lot of information, and she didn't just make that up. She didn't make up a bedtime story. She did her research. She talked to people. She saw it. You got to remember, this is a woman that was possibly in her 30s, 40s at the time that had lived life. So there's no telling what she's seen. Hold on, one more. Gail says she wrote both books, The Black Woman's Guide and The Black Man. She did. She did. Thank you, Gail. Let's get back to the video.
Can be explained simply by the same explanation in Shakespeare. Now, let me just say one other thing about books, okay? And what the explanation for that is that it doesn't require much intellectual engagement to watch a soap opera. But to watch Shakespeare, you've got to bring something to it. You've got to be reasonably literate. Now,
this is a soap opera.
About books, let me just say this. She made the comment earlier that this is the first book that's dealt with the experience of black women in America. That comment, hold on a minute, that comment in and of itself shows an astonishing ignorance of the literature on black studies in this country. For instance, if you all want to read a real book that will teach you something about the heroism, the greatness, the true role of black women, read Paula Giddings' book, Where and When I Enter. Read Margaret Walker, read Dr. Margaret Walker, who for 30 years, listen, read, if you want to see,
remember that we have never had a book that all of the people agree with, the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You take what you can use and you reject the rest. But this book talks about our collective contribution. Do not forget that. This is not all of us, but this is all of us sometime on some level.
Okay.
There's no point in going into denial.
Please identify yourself.
My name is Jesse Peterson, and I am the founder of Director Bond. First, I want to say to your producer,
I'm going to let his face come up. For those that don't know, that is Jesse. Yes, that Jesse that goes back and forth with Tariq Nasheed. That is the Jesse Lee Peterson back in the late 80s, early 90s. So he's already been on this, black people, we got to do better. And then eventually he turned the corner and became a super coon. And I don't even like using that word a lot of times for my people. But this is the Jesse Lee Peterson. What's going on, Mona? I'm going to catch you live in a minute. I'm over here cooking right now. I appreciate you stopping in, sis. But yes, that's the Jesse Lee Peterson, y'all, before he became buffoonery famous. Let's go. And notice, this is something else I noticed watching this. While the men are dressed up in suits, these brothers did not believe in getting the edge up back in the 90s. I don't know what the fuck kind of haircuts they had going on. It's like they just trimmed it down and just refused to get a lineup. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I'm gonna have to check back with my pops and see what was going on. Let's go.
The black men reading this book, it's because you're afraid of losing your position.
Give her a chance to respond.
I know what happened.
Give her a chance to respond, please.
I don't agree with you at all.
What it is, the black woman is in the wrong position. The black man has to come back to the head of the family.
What you've been dealing with it. We're not taking anything away from you.
What we're doing is, at Bond, we are understanding that because of that wrong position, the black woman is not able to handle that position. And that's why she's out of order. That's why she's so crazy.
Yes. My name is Queen Esther, and I'm from the Heal Thyself in Brooklyn, about healing the nation. Right now, we're in an emergency. We don't have time to fight with our family. We have to build a nation, love each other, and start building. We don't have time for hitting our family. We have to come to one unity right now. All we have time to do is love and build in the truth. We're in an emergency.
Let me run over here. Sorry.
Let me run over here to these comments like Geraldo. But Jesse Lee Peterson was saying that the men had to come back to the head of the table, the head of the household or whatever. So I don't know if you guys could hear it, but someone in the background was like, he should have never left. Remember, there's a reason why I played Nikki Giovanni's comments first. The 60s had already happened. So women were doing okay. Black women were doing okay with having kids out of wedlock, not having a man in the home, getting better jobs, and getting government assistance and things like that. 72, what did Nikki Giovanni say? Why don't we try it my way? Here we are roughly 15 plus years later, not even 20 years later maybe. And the women are saying, well, why did the men leave? But people tend to forget. This is why I like walking the timeline. That's why I know those that were in the chat before saw the video, but I see I got new people coming in. I appreciate everybody. Again, y'all make sure y'all rock bottom, uppercut, body slam the like button as you come in. I really appreciate it. But it's a reason why I started out with that video in 72. And then we got to the mid 80s. Now we're in the late 80s, early 90s, still having a conversation. And people can't understand what was done to us by racism and the idea of white supremacy. It was all by design. Unfortunately, so many of our elders, our olders, fell for it. And here they are in our age group back then having arguments about it. But let me slide over here to these comments. Corey says they're hating hard. Definitely were. Definitely were. Gail says not much has changed because back then, says Shahrazad Ali had to hire security because both men and women tried to attack her. Now remember she spoke about that another time too. People were trying to physically harm her. Broken Tradition says, wow, yes, Broken Tradition, that was Jesse Lee. Again, Mona D in the chat. Appreciate you stopping in, sis. This is what I was laughing about. Gail said, is that an FBA hairline?
You go, girl!
Oh. Peace to Chris. Chris says, haircuts were not important back then. They must not have been, bro. They're on camera. They see it. So, I don't know. I can't even explain it. But I noticed that when I rewatched the video again, like, what in the whole hell? These brothers did not believe in an edge up. Salute to Gail. I think somebody called you the mod mother. The greatest moderator on YouTube. Shout out to you, sis, for keeping everybody straight. For those that do want to donate, you can. Again, if not, it's cool. Just throw me a subscription. If I haven't earned your subscription yet, at least hit the like button. The likes are free. Harrison Family Value says you're late to the party. No, you right on time, brother. We in here cooking, brother or sister. I'm not sure who on the other end of that, but yes, we just in here cooking. So I'm walking the timeline of kind of what happened to us. There's a poll at the top of the chat. Have you received conflicting information from the same people in the older generation? I call them the elders and the olders. Have you received conflicting information between black and female relationships and rearing children? Have you heard two different things from people in the same age group? Dead said anime says what's interesting here is the timing. I think I shrunk it. He says what's interesting here is the timing. We were on the tail end of the crack epidemic when this aired. So much stuff happened back then. The 80s was a mofo for those that don't know. Crack, HIV and AIDS, still going back and forth, I believe, at the time with Russia. Right before the Persian Gulf War, it was so much going on. But here we are having the same conversations. Fast forward 2023, we got Ukraine, we got a high-ass STD rate, and we're still having these discussions about relationships, period, across the board, because white people are having them on their side. But in this space, which particularly today, black male and female relationships, we're still having the same discussion. And again, this is back in the 80s, 90s. Gail says, left and being pushed out are two different things.
You go, girl!
Big time, Gail. I appreciate the Growth family. So we are officially the Growth family. I'm close to 1,000 subscribers. Flawless mentality. I don't see him in the chat, but salute to that brother. He came in and spoke of like, hey, Growth family. And I told him, hey, I'm taking that. So we are officially the Growth family. Appreciate everybody being in here. Let's see. Oh, definitely appreciate you here. I appreciate you being in here, brother. So let's get back to the video.
First of all, the black woman must realize that as the black nation, we were the first people on the planet and the first people to establish family life and our roles in the family structure. What we live today is totally alien to what we originally established as our roles.
Is your point that the man has to be on top, the woman on bottom?
Well, I heard women say that they can raise a family alone. If you can raise a family, if a woman can raise a family alone, then she has had the opportunity and has the opportunity today to correct the problem of the man and her male children. But she has been unsuccessful and will continue to be unsuccessful until she gets the problem in her mind.
I got to give that brother one of these.
Knocks down another three ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
I say it all the time. If that way, Nikki Giovanni's, hey, let's try it my way. If it was working, Our cities wouldn't look like they look right now because it's your sons, sisters. These are your sons and your grandsons that are tearing up stuff in the city. Breaking in cars, robbing people, murdering people. Broken Tradition just did his live last night where he spoke about the female cop in Chicago being killed outside of her home because some teenagers was running around robbing people to get money for a fucking barbecue. Of course they locked their ass up. It was a female, it was a cop, just happened to be a black female, just got her master's degree. Like just graduated. Gone, 24 years old. So she's a cop in Chicago and still had the presence of mind to do better. This is where we support y'all, sis. Applaud that. Get good. You go, girl. R.I.P. to her. But 24 years old, gone because some teenagers wanted to throw a party. Where were their mothers at? If black women were doing such a bang up job as mothers, and I'm not saying that you can't raise a man or a good man or any of that shit. But if that was the case from back in 1972 until now, our cities would not look like they look. I'm sorry. You need a male presence. There has to be balance. Let's get back to the video and then I'll bounce back to the comments.
Over here. Identify yourself. Hurry.
My name is Dr. LaFrancis Rogers Rose, and I teach African American Studies, and I've been teaching a course on the black family for the last 15 years. And I would like the author to know that I have a book on strategies for resolving conflict in black male-female relationships that's been out since 1985. One of the things that I think is a problem is that we have to be analytical about what we do, and we have to be value-free about what we do. One of the problems with your book, is that there's a lot of sweeping generalizations, a lot of stereotypes. And stereotypes are half-truths. And half-truths is what has put us in the position that we're in now about our relationships.
Hold it right there. Go to Shahrazad.
Just one slight
I have to get a response. Shahrazad, is it not true that your book does indeed contain what the previous speaker characterized as sweeping stereotypes?
No, I don't think so. Absolutely. See, we're talking about a condition. We are talking about a condition of our people where we have been programmed with the wrong ideas, so all of us are doing many of the same things. And we're talking about a situation where our man has been judged on the wrong standards.
Okay, okay, go.
You're asking the wrong people about this.
That's
the right
right.
people to ask are not employed. They're in the armory. You need to ask the masses of black men who are unemployed in Bedford Avenue Armory in 120.
Your point being?
Our point being that the black man pardon me? The black man is in the armory. He is unemployed. You are an exception to the rule about this book. He is the criteria of judgment, not you.
Stand up, please. Excuse me.
My name is Iyanla Vanzant, and I am a youth.
I'm going to pause right there before Sister Iyanla get to cooking. Look, Eric Jordan says, uh-oh, I lost it. Let me get it back. Eric says, sis, your book ain't working. It's not without trying. She did her part, bro. Eric, she did her part. The rest of the community, in particular the mothers, got to do their part. She gave good guidance. She gave good guidance to men. She's not talking. She said it several times. I'm not talking about the guy just sleeping on the couch, playing video games all day, getting high. I'm not talking about him. That's not her focus. Like, it's not my focus here. We don't shout out to Theo Coop. This is also a Pookie free zone. We don't do that shit over here. You take your ass to work, you take care of the children you made, you build something. Even if it's just the basic American dream of owning a home and retiring. And keep your ass out of jail. Keep your ass running afoul with the law. If you're a black man, take care of your responsibilities. It's too easy to take care of home. It is not that hard to take care of home. I don't know why we keep trying to make this that, and it's not. This is why I have an issue with the term white supremacy. This is why I have an issue when that sister was speaking earlier, saying that black women are the bottom of society, but she's giving pushback to Shahrazad Ali as if she was trying to make it that through her book, and that's not the case. Yes, Corey Joe.
Knocks down another three ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
This is a Pookie free zone. Let's get back to the video. We're going to give Auntie Iyanla, the last word, and then we're going to keep on rolling.
A priestess and a cultural custodian. This is not our culture. This book is anti-cultural, anti-African, and anti-historical. Wait a minute. Because our ancestors have said that our key to our growth is love. This book contains no love. It doesn't encourage love. It doesn't support love. And it dismisses the most loving force on this earth, the African woman.
Take a break.
I know people have reacted to Shahrazad Ali's other clips. I got some coming too. But I wanted to show that in particular to see the pushback that sister was getting at that time. So when women are speaking today of, oh, my mother didn't talk like that, but she took so much shit off my daddy and this, that, you see back then, those people are in our age group, 30, 40, 50 years old at that time, giving pushback against a sister that just asked black women to treat their men better. They told black men to treat their women better. But they sit up nowadays in 2023 and then want to tell us, oh, we didn't do that back in my day. But here it is on video. I guess they forgot the cameras were running, or that they thought that VCRs were just going to be the end all be all and then be obsolete and we wouldn't have social media like we have. Nobody saw this coming. But again, my platform, while I may talk about the women, I'm talking to the men. Brothers, when you getting that type of pushback, like Sister Shahrazad Ali has always said, like Auntie Shahrazad Ali has always said, probably want to leave. You can do those 6 different steps that she went through, and the one that they wanted to focus on was the slap in the mouth. Most men ain't even going to do that step. But she got so much pushback for that one. The women didn't even receive that, hey, maybe I don't need to talk to my black man like he's a fucking child. So many sisters are pushing back against what she's saying and didn't even take the time to stop and analyze themselves, take inventory, and see if they were doing some of those behaviors. And we've constantly heard from sisters over and over again, we don't do that. I got sisters in this chat right now that I'm pretty sure don't rock like that, because the ones that don't rock with my content are usually the ones that do. So the Gales, the Royalties, Chelsea's, and the Mona D's in the chat, they're not going to argue with Kofa, because guess what? They've seen that shit. They got nephews. They have sons. They wouldn't advise their sons to date any of those type of women that are giving them that type of hell. And that's all the grown-ass men are saying. I don't want to be a grown-ass man dealing with that type of hell from you. Intelligent women, like the ones in this space, aren't going to advise the younger men that they're rearing and raising to go out there and find these type of women. So why is it so much pushback all the time? We can see it across the board, across all socials, that women today are still talking like those women of old. And then I showed it again for the brothers. Now you know where they got it from. Because they'll be quick to shit on us because y'all mamas done spoiled y'all and everything else under the sun. But we had a group of young black women in the mid-'80s saying that black men weren't necessary to the family. I really wonder where they are now. I wonder how many babies they've had since then, how many grandchildren they have. Did the girls that they raised move in that same direction? I said it last time. I have yet to hear an older black man tell a younger black man, go out there and make the same mistakes I did, bro. But we see it all the time with black women, that you can do and be all, and a man just better get on your program. Again, Auntie Nikki Giovanni, let's try it my way. Let's look where we're at. Let me slide over here to these comments, because y'all been going in. Let's see. Broke Tradition said, I'm going to cam up for you after you cook. Cool. You can go ahead and cam up, bro. I got a couple more videos. They're short, but let me get through this next one real quick, Broke Traditions, then we'll open it up. Eric Jordan says, no other chick that was trying to crap Shahrazad. No, the other chick that was trying to crap Shahrazad Ali. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now, Eric. The other sister that had mentioned that other book. we're still talking about Shahrazad Ali again 40 years later. So I see what you're saying, Eric. Corey Joe says she actually agrees nowadays. Speaking about Iyanla Vanzant, I'm getting ready to get to her videos real quick. Was that Iyanla back then? It was. So we had Jesse Lee Peterson and Iyanla Vanzant in the same room back in the 90s, and I want to see what they think about each other now and what transpired during that time frame of us growing up as kids and then becoming adults. I just wonder what they think about each other's work from that period on. But yeah, that was her Broken Traditions. Gail dropped that in the chat. Appreciate you again, sis. There we go. Flawless mentality. Brother, you get this.
Knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Look, Flawless mentality. I just got through telling them before you jumped in, man. I said, we are now the Growth family because of you. I was trying to think of a name to call the members and the subscribers of the chat. I really appreciate that, brother. When you said that Growth family, I was like, plain and simple. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I appreciate it, brother. Let's keep going. Gail says, shit, I know several who do. I know we all know a lot of black women that act like that. And I know a lot of black dudes that are batshit crazy. But what's crazy about that, they keep a woman. Or 2 or 3. Solid brothers got to go through hell and high water. Roach says, I'm too rich to get on camera right now. My rating came back.
You go, girl!
We got to talk on the back end about that, y'all. That's some army talk for those that don't know. Gail says, I grew up with and around women with mouths like that. I was always angry and felt out of place as a child until I met my father. I say it all the time. Opposite sex parents matter. Y'all talk about mama's boys all the time, but ain't nobody gonna love a man like his mama did. My mama is the youngest of her siblings. Straight up daddy's girl. She says it all the time. Ain't nobody gonna love a woman like her daddy. Prayerfully, the mothers are choosing men that want to be fathers and daddies, that aren't just siring children and moving on. Because when you have a father, when you have a daddy, we bleed for y'all. We go through hell and high water. It's several nights I done cried about the safety and just praying for the safety of my girls. And when I can't see my girls, even my homeboys know, bro, you straight? I ain't seen the kid, bro. Damn. Like, we know it's fathers. So I appreciate you saying that, Gail. Zongo says, I love to see how those chicks from 1986. I would too, bro. I would.
Knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
I appreciate it, Chelsea. Just trying to do my part. Gail says, my father and I are the same people in different bodies. Not rude, loudmouth, hotheads, and are logical. Salute. I think I passed my hot-headedness to my oldest, but we're working that out. But she is pretty logical for a girl. I try to make that a point to just be able to step out of emotion and be able to see things clearly, not as you want them to be. Corey Joe says that was crazy how they all in the room. It wasn't it. I was like, man, I started looking back at the old video. I'm like, man, that's Jesse Lee Peterson. Like him. That's Iyanla Vanzant. That's him. Now, I don't know where a lot of the other people may have gone to, but I know those two off top. Yango says, funny how the majority of the pushback that Sister Ali got back in the day came from B-dubs. Yep, it came straight from other black women, bro. Salute again. Flawless mentality for the G.R.O.W.T.H family. Let's see. Salute, flawless mentality. Appreciate checking in. Gail says, my mama didn't treat not one man right. She's single, over 70, and nothing has changed. I told you, I don't know if he was in that night, Gail. All bullshit aside, my mama's 66. She has a friend that's the same age. Her friend refuses to date a man if he doesn't have a criminal record. Notice I said date. Also not married. I wish I was lying. All right, that's all the comments, y'all. Let's get back to some of these videos. In this next video, Iyanla's going to break down, I think we've all seen when she said that black women were out of order. Now, the video I'm getting ready to play is from 9 years ago when she was explaining why she was saying that. Then we're going to pivot to another video where she has to clarify her most recent video interview on The Breakfast Club. But let's go ahead and get into this one.
When I say we're out of order, it's not a criticism and it's not a judgment, because what I realize is so many of us.
I'm going to pause it real quick. I didn't realize it was on the OWN network. I am not trying to get this shit stopped in the middle of this. So let me bring this up. Let me adjust myself real quick. Just going to cover me up. Y'all going to have to deal with my ugly ass real quick. But appreciate y'all being in here. But listen to the audio.
Just don't know. We
Like
don't
2
know
minutes.
because our mothers didn't know. And our mothers didn't know because our grandmothers didn't know. And because our culture has broken down so much. I mean, I grew up in a time when if mama worked, grandma lived in the house. You know, where there were generations of people in the house, generations of women. And so there were so many ways that we were exposed to what it looked like, felt like, sounded like to be a woman. And now those things just don't happen. Where are we learning not only what it means to be a woman, but what it means to honor your body? Not just take care of it with exercise and diet, but honor the way it looks like, honor the way it develops, honor the way it unfolds, know what's gonna happen to you, you know? Where are we learning how to honor our spirit? Honor your spirit. Learn how to trust your intuition. Know what that inner voice feels like. Know what it feels like when somebody is dishonoring you. What it feels like when someone is encroaching upon your private space. Where are we learning that? Where are we learning how to process our emotions? Sadness, grief, sorrow, fear, anger, loneliness. It's important for everybody, but it's really important for us as women and women of color, because when we don't have this information, then we accommodate and tolerate dishonoring situations and people. But more important, we begin to deny these things, and that's when we get into the drinking and the drugs and the overeating and just bad behavior and wrongdoing. So don't hear me, I hope you won't hear me as saying that we're out of order as a criticism or a judgment or beating us up. We're doing the best with the information we have, but we don't have the information that we need. We just don't have it. And it's not in the church. We're not getting it in the church, and we're not getting it in the home. So we're just kind of out there.
You heard what she said. We're not getting in the church. We're not getting in the home. She had an example of who to follow when she was younger. And yes, again, we know what racism is done in this country. We know what games were played. We know what crack did. We know all that. And that's my issue today in 2023. We got all these books. We have all this information. And yet our people holding our feet to the fire, holding us accountable, are acting like they act. I want to give Chris this real quick before I go on. Shout out to you, Chris, for the Cash App, brother.
Knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Appreciate you again. Pivoting back to what Auntie Iyanla just said. She had an example to follow. So many of these girls have fallen off because the women said, well, I'm not doing that anymore. We just heard it from the clip on Geraldo. Well, we can do this, and we waiting on y'all. Why did y'all leave? As Gail so eloquently pointed out, there's a difference between leaving and being pushed out. I want to go ahead and get to this Breakfast Club interview because it has a little bit more meat on it, of course, because even in that interview, the one I had to just cover myself up with, that was from 9 years ago. 9 years ago, again, I like timelines. Here we are in 2023. She's still having to clarify. She's still having to push women into this direction of just being better. And that's what I ask sisters all the time. Do you want to be a wife or do you want to be a married woman? Because if you're a wife, you'll eventually become a wife. But you also, as men, do you want to be a married man or do you want to be a husband? Spoke about this the other night when Broken Traditions asked me, did I think Kevin Samuel's message, as far as the time, the good message, the good timing, was in par with what Malcolm and Martin were talking about? And I unequivocally said, yes. Simple as that. Because he spoke about husbandry. Same thing as Malcolm and Martin. Let me go over to some of these comments. And then we'll get into the video. D. Scott in the building says, Gail be everywhere. Yes, she does. I saw somebody earlier today call her the mod mother. She is the coldest moderator on YouTube. Again, sis, I appreciate you. Flawless Mentality says, what's up to everybody? Corey Joe says, they rejected Auntie Ali. So, exactly. We've had people come into these different pockets throughout our history saying, hey, we got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. Shout out to Theo Coop again. Every time I say it now, I think about him. But we have to do better as a community. But it's 2023. Like they said back then, in the late 80s, early 90s, how long are we going to blame this idea of white supremacy? We got the information. They're going to do what they're going to do. Why do we keep buying into it? And then when the sister tries to shake us up with a solid book, again, that has stood the test of time, people are still arguing about it. Still upset that she wrote that book because they see it as oppression of the black woman. Let me explain something to the sisters real quick. I have never seen a group of people get damn near 100% of everything they wanted and still be unhappy and still have complaints. When you wanted to have a child, you had one. When you didn't, up until recently when the law changed, you would have a baby deletion. When you wanted to be single, you're single. When you want to juggle men, you juggle men. And all throughout those processes, when you want to work, you work. If you don't want to work, you get pregnant and then live off the government. We've seen all these different facets through black womanhood, and none of that shit comes with a consequence. But ultimately, we see what the consequences are when we're looking at our community. But as black women are doing these things, nobody says anything. It's damn near acceptable. There's a certain pocket of men that can do it and get away with it. But the majority of men, one, they're not on that type of time, myself included. I ain't got time to be fucking around and just be community dick. I got responsibilities. Already had a child out of wedlock. I'm not trying to go out here and make more. Went through hell and high water, the front and the back gate of hell to raise that girl. Got her to 19. My youngest getting ready to turn 13 later on this year. I only got 5 more years with her. I got to make them count. I ain't got time to be fucking around. And that's the majority of black men. But I keep saying it. Women be so impressed with the one guy, he swagged out. It'll be 5 women dealing with one man. 5 women go out and tell their story of heartbreak from this same man. And now that becomes the narrative. So the next men that got to deal with that are the women that Shahrazad Ali has been preaching about for years. Those next brothers got to catch all that hell. We've seen it time and time again. Slide over to the comments real quick. Gail says, I've always said that once we acknowledge and understand how we got here, we can no longer use it as an excuse. You can't.
You go, girl!
Gail says, that's why they call me the Oracle. Gail be everywhere, man. It is sad. I don't know how else to say it. We know what our people have been through. Okay, cool. Let's not repeat it. Or let's not add on to it. How about that? How about we don't add on to the bullshit that our people have already gone through? That makes sense? I know this may not be the message for us, but I try to give y'all the message to go back out there and have these conversations. And I know y'all probably get pushed back because I get pushed back. I get smoke. But y'all know I love my cigars, so I don't mind smoke. But yes, take the message, go out there, have these conversations. Let's see who we can get to get better. Again, I'm not a relationship coach, but I do believe in treating people with common decency and courtesy, and why not start at home? Why not start in the community? Kofa might be a husband one day, but I know I'm a good father, I'm a good son, good employee. I think I'm a pretty good YouTuber or becoming one. I'm a good man. And that's where it starts at, gentlemen. Again, you take you wherever you go. Baltimore in the building. What's going on, Smoke and Talk? Chelsea, it's your birthday?
You go, girl!
Happy birthday, sis. Chelsea says facts, no good judgment. We gotta do better. Oh yes, the classic cam cover up works every time. Cause I was making like damn near making another thumbnail to go over some of the videos before. I was like, you know what? I saw you do it the other night, Broken Traditions. Light bulb. That's what it's gonna be. I'm just going, y'all got to look at my ugly ass a little bit when these videos are playing so I don't get a copyright strike. Chelsea says, thank you, Kofi. It was yesterday, but I'm still accepting my birthday love. Always, sis. Always. Broken Tradition, bro. If you want to cam up and hop in, I know you had mentioned it. Anybody else, the link is pinned to the chat. I appreciate everybody again for rocking with me. Flawless Mentality, Doc, I appreciate you again, brother. Thank you, thank you. That shit, it means so much coming from older men because I know y'all didn't have this space back when you were my age. I've talked to older gentlemen in their 50s and 60s, and I was telling Broken Traditions, I had some married guys slide in my DMs, not like that, but like, hey man, I rock with your content. I like what you're saying. I want to hit like on like, Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, but me and my wife share a page. So salute to those brothers. Again, salute to the older gentlemen like Flawless Mentality who've lived this. I know you were probably watching live back then during Geraldo, Brother Flawless. So it's just crazy how this thing keeps coming full circle. We're having the same conversation. And I tell people all the time, we're having the conversation because nothing's changed. The solution hasn't been implemented. We haven't found the fix. So when people are saying, oh, I'm tired of talking about relationships, I'm tired of talking about this, I'm tired about, it hasn't been fixed. If you say you're tired of talking about something and you can recognize that it's still broken, you're tired of talking about something broken because it's still going on. That's just like you sick of your leaky ass faucet. You're sick of your leaky ass faucet because it's still leaking. It hasn't been fixed. We'll slide over to this next video, to this Breakfast Club video. Where we at? Oh, I got it right here. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know that we're all crazy as hell?
Absolutely. I remind myself.
Quick pause. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to bring myself up. Classic cover up again, Broken Traditions. I think. Bam. There we go. Let's rock.
Every day.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But so it's not the woundedness. It's the misinterpretations of love. The wounds or the experience of being wounded disrupted our expression and experience of love. So many of us have love wired to pain. We have love wired to struggle. We have love wired to so many dysfunctional things that it just manifests in our relationships. So right now I'm focusing on women and relationships. And I say women because we got to get this together.
What do you mean? Don't bite your tongue now.
You know I will not. My experience and my observation is that most women are men in skirts, meaning that the way their presence, their being, the way we roll in the world, it's very masculine because we've been conditioned and programmed out of our feminines. And when I say, I don't mean feminist movement in the world, I want to be a fireman or a football player. I'm talking about, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how to be a woman in your being. What is the distinction between feminine power and masculine power? And we've been conditioned and trained to be.
Uh-oh, let me see. Jesse says it's cutting in and out. Is anybody else losing the audio? a little bit. Y'all let me know in the chat. Put a 1 if you can hear it. Put a 2 if you can't. Let me know if you couldn't hear the audio. Chet said she couldn't hear. The audio was cutting in and out. I'm gonna keep on rocking, Chelsea. I don't know if you want to go back out, come back in. Let's see. Okay, you're good now? Okay, cool.
Men in skirts, we do everything like men. We compete like men. We, you know, I said this on the R Spot a few weeks ago. I said, most women want their boyfriend to act like their girlfriend, you know, chatting, shopping. But when the man comes home, what they meet is another dude. You know how women are up. It's just so.
Why do you think that happened?
And why do you think it's such a problem?
It's a problem, first of all, because the feminine presence is missing on this planet. That's why we got so many.
Pause it real quick. If you couldn't hear it, go back out, try to come back in. Chelsea said it fixed it for her, and then Theo had hopped in after I started playing, and he was able to pick it up. But yeah, I'm looking at the chat. I'm monitoring the chat. So if you can't, again, let me know.
Much hoopla and conflagration going on with the weather, with the politics, because see, the old male guard is dying. That masculine patriarchy, it's dying off, and you see them fighting and clawing to hold on to power with all. That's the whole Roe v. Wade turnover. Oh, we gonna control you. We gonna control you and your hoo-ha. Okay, like women get pregnant by themselves. We need to have some bill where men are involuntarily sterilized. How about that? Can we do that? Just take your old weenie out and put it up here and let me whack on it.
Gotta stop it there. No, auntie. We're not getting automatically sterilized. What we're asking a lot of women to do with the Roe v. Wade is stop deleting babies. You slap on guy's weenie, and then he can't procreate at all. Now, do I agree with Roe v. Wade and the reverse and all that? I personally don't. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your body, but at the same time, I don't agree with baby deletions. Because guess what? We're adults. We know how babies are made. That's not anything weird. We know how babies are made. So when that happens, it's time to woman up, it's time to man up, come together and figure that thing out, even if it's just a co-parenting situation. It does not have to be as hard as so many people try to make it. It doesn't. Let's get back to the audio.
My wife want me to get a vasectomy, so I'm down for it.
So that's number one. And so, but we have been programmed and conditioned and raised where our feminine power and our presence as females is dishonored, disregarded, disrespected, just in the world, not just by men. And we've also been taught and trained that our softness is inappropriate, it's dangerous. Our emotions are inappropriate, and nobody wants to be bothered with that. So where do we go with that? How do we know? If a woman knew that her greatest power was silence, that's her greatest power, because then she can hear. But we run our mouth all the time, talking about everything. Stillness. If a woman really understands and knows who she is, she can walk in a room and take control of every man in the room. How she walks, how she sits, how she talks, how she be. We don't know how to be women. We know how to do what women do.
When do you think that was lost?
For black women?
Of course.
Of course, we are in slavery. Because we had to diminish ourselves and our hearts. Who we were as women became dangerous because we were just raped and violated. We were subject to what anybody else wanted to do with us. We watched our fathers and sons be hung. A woman can survive a rape but a man can't survive a hanging. So for a mother to watch.
I'm going to pause that real quick, go back to what I said earlier. We've been swinging from the same tree for a long while. I'm going to pivot back after the video, after the audio, and pivot back to D. Scott's comments. But we've been swinging from the same tree for a long while. But there's a hierarchy to this thing. God, man, woman. Because women like to hide when them bullets and shit, real shit go down. So, as D. Scott said, a lot of women want to lead from the back. Still want the lead part. It's supposed to be a helpmate, sis. Let me let it roll. But again, and something what she was just saying about a woman can survive a grape, a man can't survive a lynching. That's also true. And I'm not downplaying grape. But as brothers out here and have been, the ones that will protect you have been, and some of them ain't made it home. And the answer to that for a lot of women has just been to go get another man. What one won't do or one can't do, another one will.
Her son be hung, or her husband or her father, and then have to not be able to say anything. So we lost our voice, we lost our dignity, we lost our majesty, and we lost our medicine. We lost it, you know? And it's those old grandmothers, those old church grandmothers that, you know, made us wear girdles and all of those things, teaching us at the table. I had these aunts, Aunt Lizzie, Aunt Alma, Aunt Dora, Aunt Nancy, and they were cigarette smoking, liquor drinking, card playing women who would get together on Saturday night, and I'm in the corner listening. I learned a lot. Two things I noticed about them. They always wore a skirt. They cussed and they smoked their cigarettes and drank their liquor, but the hoo-ha was connected to the earth. They always wore a skirt. They did not wear pants. And they all knew how to cook. Lizzie did the fish. Nancy did the hog maws. Alma did the this, the that, the other thing. And they all, I learned so much from those women. Where are women sitting around talking today in a way that teaches the young girls, you know?
Social media.
But it's mean. It's mean talking. I want you to search social media. I want you to search social media. I want you to search everywhere and find one place you've ever heard me speak against another black woman. A woman, period. I don't do that. I want to pull up on her.
You heard what she said, right? There's the reason why I played this clip last. Whenever I ever spoken against another black woman. And to her point, she never spoke against Sister Shahrazad Ali that I know about. She vehemently disagreed with her when she was on Geraldo. But you see how that tone has changed over time. Auntie Shahrazad is a prophet. She saw it happen. She saw it stain. She saw it coming. Get over here to these comments real quick. Appreciate you again, Chelsea. She says she's really enjoying this live. I really appreciate that. D. Scott says she's still a gynocratic to the core. She's just part of that lead from the back generation. We've seen that before too, where it's like, sisters forgive me, but I call it, I'm not saying this about Sister Shahrazad Ali, but I've seen that type of soft-spoken behavior and can still get a man fucked up because I need help. He didn't help me. He didn't protect me. I call those the sweet bitch. Where you still have something in you where it's still evil. It just doesn't come out as masculine and raw, raw, raw. D. Scott says she had to soften up after she lost everything. And there's so many women that are going through that right now. So when Ebony K. Williams, I know y'all tired of hearing me talk about it, but it was such a great timing, Ebony K. Salute to you, sis.
You go, girl!
When Ebony K. Williams was talking about women had to step up and do all that. Hold on, bring that back up there. And women were, you know, buying all these houses and stuff like that. Again, unfortunately. But black women are the highest evicted demographic in the country. So how you buying the house and turning around losing it at the same time? But we love to hear the fluff. That's why I played that Geraldo video. We love to hear the fluff, and when people were talking about, oh, go get this book, it praises the black woman and stuff like that. That sounds nice, but is that praise real or is it a fantasy? Is the praise just one-off? You know, again, I call them those outliers, those onesie-twosie, as we say in the Army, those onesie-twosie people over here that did this great thing when this whole group over here was on some bullshit. We don't know. We weren't back then, but we've seen this timeline walk. We able to see it at least from the 70s. Been going on 50-some years now. Again, Brother Flawless Mentality, an older gentleman in here. I've seen him come in, comment, support, and then I just said he probably watched that Geraldo episode live. He said all facts. So these older gentlemen that are into their 50s, 60s, they were probably seeing it back in the 1950s. So it's been going on longer than we really want to admit. It's a lot of women that came up under a lot of other women that just weren't going to deal with no man. And when I say deal with, follow his leadership. Sisters, I keep saying it, you cannot ask for black male leadership and not give black female followship. You can't. The two things don't match. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked. It's not working. We're watching this in real time. These children need fathers. Please stop sleeping with some dude just because he got the cat wet. 6 foot, 6 figures, 6-pack is still what a lot of women require. Other ones, he got to be swagged all the way out. There's usually some type of money in there because we see money as provision. Money's not the only provision. Men provide guidance, integrity, discipline, so on and so forth. But so many of our women don't think those are good qualities. Or that, you know what's worse? I take that back. They know they're good qualities and still don't pick them. Isn't that interesting? Got to give myself one.
Knocks down another 3 ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Slide over here to some of these comments. D. Scott also says, I know too many women like this, everything with a grain of salt, which it should be for everybody. Again, the Bruce Lee quote I love. You take what's useful, discard the rest, add what's uniquely your own. But I wanted to hear us I want us to listen again. That's why I keep telling brothers, step out that masculine, that alpha for a minute. Not on no little boy shit, not on some beta shit. Just step back and let the women talk and listen. They gonna tell on themselves 100% of the time. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Shahrazad Ali is telling on herself as being coupled in and grouped with other black women. She's telling on her sisters. She's not on this whole sister code. Black women are goddesses, mothers of the earth, and doing all this and all that nice stuff that sounds good when she's seeing how they act. Now, in your quote-unquote divinity, let me be woke Kofa real quick. In your queendom, in your divinity from the motherland, all that stuff, in your melanin, at your core, you might be that. But you're not acting it out. We don't see it. Again, a lot of sisters are talking queen, but acting concubine. I'm going to say it again. A lot of women are talking queen, but acting concubine. Give myself another one.
Knocks down another 3 ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Get back to the comments. D. Scott also says, she's saying lost. Those women made a choice like the ones these days do. They do. Mothers teach the culture. Women, let me explain something to y'all sisters. Y'all the first teacher of the child. Not that you don't know that, but you're the first teacher of the child. And that's something I do agree with what Malcolm said. The message that mother gives the child, that child gives to the world. Again, Auntie Nikki Giovanni, why don't we try it my way? Not working. Not working. We see what's going on. What in the world? Oh. D. Scott calls cappity cap. Chris says, I love my cigar, so don't mind the smoke. Yes, sir. Corey Joe says true. Chelsea says 100. Corey Joe says access denied. Shout out to Theo again. Fish grease and fish grease. Yes. I wanted to play those for a specific reason. Let me get back over here. Broken Tradition, you still in here? I know my interview had went offline for a second. I don't know why I did that, but it looked like it's back up and running. Or anybody else that wants to cam up and come in the chat real quick and just, try to chop it up real quick and discuss this because it's interesting. I want to play one more quick video I found on TikTok. I actually found it on TikTok, and then I found the older sister's page. Her name is Miss Faye. Miss Faye is killing it. Miss Faye got like 200 videos and like 71,000 subscribers. So she whooping everybody ass right now. She is killing it. But she's usually on there talking and giving advice to younger women on how to avoid certain men and stuff like that. I know the guys may not like it. It's not necessarily for us, but it's just one part that I did find interesting. Let me slide over and see if this will play real quick.
That the lesbians are pretending that they are heterosexual and want a relationship with the man until they conceive the child, and then they announce that they are gay, to leave the man, sue him for child support, and then live the rest of their lives with their lesbian lovers and his baby.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, people. You cannot make this shit up.
I know y'all seen that as well. I've seen it as well. I've heard it from my lesbian friends. Had one in particular pissed. She hate that shit. I don't think she fuck with women with kids. While y'all mad at Kofa, she like, I can't stand these hoes. That bitch know she ain't gay. Or she knew she was and just wouldn't come on out the closet. She done had 3 and 4 damn kids and think I'm gonna take care of them. These are her words, not mine. Let me slide over to the comments real quick. Where we at? Fish, please. Corey says Chelsea go live with Kofa. We can do that. Just said, you want me to cam up? Yeah, you can slide in. Oh, you like Chelsea says, my girl.
You go, girl.
Yeah, Miss Faye be on it and I know she be telling y'all the truth. That's why I started following. I was like, I know this information isn't even necessarily for me, but I listened to a couple of clips. Can't argue with her. She's that older lady that I think a lot of younger women, again, are elder. A lot of women need to hear from these elders, not necessarily the olders, because a lot of older women that are fools. Who is that coming in? Oh, that's Broken Traditions. Let's see, brother. Let's see if this is gonna work. Let's see. Bring Broken Traditions in. Give me one quick second, LeBron. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all drop a one if y'all can hear both of us? You got me on your end?
Yeah, I see a little lag. Is there a lag?
It might be.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Yeah, it is on your end. Might be on mine too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we still gonna ride with it. Appreciate you being in here, man.
No problem, man. I had a fresh cut, so I had to cam up.
Hey, look.
I mean, I ain't will look like the dudes of Geraldo. You feel me?
Man, you saw that shit. Them brothers in the 90s were not getting edge ups. I don't know what that was about.
Nah, there was no Andes, no type of Clippers, no was it Baby Bliss, whatever. No type of what you call it.
Beside his ugly ass. You know it, Corjo. I do. Chelsea, if you want to hop in too, sis, I don't know how well it's gonna work, but we'll figure it out. Again, flying the plane.
Oh no, if it works, if I gotta just chop out, I don't mind.
Yeah, Chelsea says she has a lot of what she does. Let's see. Comment. Well, go ahead, BT. I'm just bring somebody. Oh, let me get the Gail's comment real quick. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Gail says, "Yep, there's a shortage of black sperm, so this way they can get a direct sperm insemination. If a man is able to verify this, he should be able to charge her for SA or some type of sexual crime." Ain't that crazy? Again, shout out to Miss Faye. Shout out to Miss Faye. I think there's a lag. Gail said, "You're good, Kofa, but his mouth isn't moving when he speaks." He's a ventriloquist
I know it's
on
a
the
lag.
side. He's a ventriloquist on the weekend.
Oh man, this lag is bad. I can tell. I'm looking at myself on a video like, damn, it's that bad.
It's all good, man. We got the audio, bro. Yeah, I mean, you still up there with the fresh cut, so go ahead. My bad for cutting you off.
It was something you said earlier, man, when I was catching it live. I was like, I need to hop on. I think it was something about damn. What was your talking points in the beginning about? I guess
the white supremacy piece.
No, before that, it was like early on. You know, I'm an OG listener.
Just everybody wearing suits back then.
No,
how they were carrying
about
themselves.
I guess the following, or like, I guess the foundation of how they want the men to be back then.
Yeah.
Right. Like how they put the foundation out there. Like, all right, men should be like this, and how it started to become a norm.
Yeah.
For black men. But now, if you really look at it on a wider scale, it started to become more of a norm for everybody. So I think black people were like the guinea pigs on trying to get the black man and the black woman to separate. And now you look in 2023, not only you got the black man and the black woman separating, you got the white man and white woman separating. You got everybody separating now.
Yeah.
It's to the point that, like you said, a woman could get with a whole man, have a baby, and become gay. You know, you was gay prior to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm starting to see it on a larger scale now. Like, this probably was an experiment. This probably was an experiment to see how far we could get us to be this and become butting heads at each other. And if we know anything, whatever that black people do is always amplified, and everybody else do it after us. We always the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that point out there, but this lag is killing me, so I'm about to hop off, Kofa.
Okay. All good, man. I appreciate you coming in. Go ahead and take one of these on the way out.
Can I get one more? All right, that's cool. I'm good with that.
Knocks down another three ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
All right, later. Go ahead.
Salute to your edge up. Peace.
All right, thanks, man.
Get it back on me real quick. But that was a very big point. I think Dead Set has a comment on that. Let's see. Dead Set says the separation problem has to do the pathology of entanglement. Dr. Clark predicted that this would happen. Moynihan was also concerned about it. Exactly, Dead Set. Dr. Clark, especially I'm more familiar with him. I still got to go back and read that whole Moynihan report, but I remember him talking about that as well, to Broker Tradition's point, that it was kind of an experiment, and then it was oh shit, it worked. And now there's a push a lot of times. That's why the laws haven't changed. I tell the men so many times, stop feeling bad about your choices in dating. I had to let go of feeling bad that I don't date single moms, because not only have I gone through the heartbreak of losing my children, because that's the way so many black men are so many black men are raised to believe and think. When we take on those kids as a package deal, they're ours, and we do protect them, we do love them, we're there with them and all that. And then when the breakup happens, they're gone, or they're still around needing money and dad's pockets are thin. It just depends on what the mother wants to do with that child. So that's why I tell brothers, stop feeling bad about your dating choices, because this was all by design, one, and we've been raised and socialized to think that we have to be stepfathers, that we have to not be in the home almost, that we have to do this. But because we've been socialized so long, now it's like Broken Tradition said, it's just the norm. Nothing's wrong with it. I remember even back in late 90s, I graduated in 2000, in the late 90s, it had started becoming weird that my parents were still married. I used to get picked on in school because my parents lived, like, your dad come to your games? That's gay. Like, that shit, mentally, a lot of our people were fucked up. So I'm not going to give pushback against, Auntie Iyanla or Auntie Shahrazad on knowing what happened through slavery. But at the same time, How long are we going to keep running with that excuse? Because at this point now, it is an excuse. It may have been a reason before, but today, May 11th, 2023, 8:35 p.m., it's an excuse. I'm sorry. We got too much information. We have too much free information. I preach about the University of YouTube all the time. Been swearing by YouTube before I even hopped into space. There are so many documentaries out here, so many books, so many lessons, so many conversations. You know what's mentioned with the elders? Not the olders. The elders. For those that just came in the chat, what's going on, Drew? I ain't even see you sneak in here, brother.
Knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Appreciate you stopping in, dog. But we're missing the conversation with the elders. I just got through telling, a short story real quick for those that just hopped in. My mom's 66. She has a friend that's the same age. Her friend refuses to date a guy if he doesn't have a criminal record. So this would have been some of those women giving pushback in that 90s video of G.R.O.W.T.H that I played. This would have been one of those teenage moms giving pushback to the interviewer in that 1986 video. This would have been one of those women back in the early 70s when Nikki Giovanni said, let's try it my way. Woman's empowerment. Black girl magic. Black girl rock. Kind of fucked up to say, but black girl magic looking like you trying to make the men disappear. Especially the kids' fathers. Oops, did I say that?
Knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Don't put that on me. The sister said back in the video from 1986 that black male figures aren't substantial to the family. Look where we are now. Slide over to this chat. Heard some of y'all coming in. Again, that was Dead Set's comments. I'm going to read it again. The separation problem has to do with pathology of entanglement. Dr. Clark predicted this. Dr. Clark is cold. He predicted this stuff back in the 80s as well about black people being a permanent underclass. That's why I didn't give a lot of pushback to Ebony K. Williams, but she said it like she created the term, but that came from Dr. Clark. She quoted everybody else when she wanted to make a point about black women, outpacing black men in college and everything else. But Dr. Clark warned us about finances, the separation of the family, taking the men out the home, how it was leading to black people becoming a permanent underclass. He's been saying it since the 80s, similar to Sister Shahrazad Ali. And look where we're at. But because we can fake on socials, and it's not just the youth. Don't put that on these young folks, because our generation got blamed for MTV and BET and hip hop and gangster rap and stuff back then. And now everybody done found Jesus and joined the church, and you want to turn around and do the same thing to these youngins that was said and done to us because of social media. When it's grown ass people on social media acting a pure ass, the men and the women. And when I say ass, I mean ass. It's grown ass women on here dropping thirst traps. Attention's the new currency. And it's not doing our people a bit of good. Get over to these next comments. Gail dropped the link. It's also pinned to the top of the chat if you want to call in. Cam up real quick. Pain for Excellence. Drew, I appreciate you being in here again. Both channels. Gail says, yep, salute to the FBA here. For those that missed it, when I played that G.R.O.W.T.H clip with Sister Shahrazad Ali and Iyanla Vanzant back then, I pointed out that the brothers back then were dressed nice. They had on suits, ties, the sisters were covered up and all that. But them brothers did not believe in getting the edge up. I don't know what fucking haircuts they had going on in the 90s. That shit was horrible. So Broken Traditions came in and was like, man, I got an edge up, so I had the cam up. So shout out to Gail. There's an FBA hairline. Gail says, don't forget about the ones who steal the used condom or bring condoms that she has poked holes in. Exactly. It's so many women that'll play this game. They may be straight up gay. They may be lesbian. Whatever the case. But guess what? That biological clock is still ticking. She still want a child. Goes back to what I said earlier. Black women, y'all are the only group that I know, and maybe because I'm a black man, I've been dealing with y'all my whole life. But y'all are the only group that I know that has gotten damn near 100% of whatever you wanted, and many of you are still not happy. So it's a lot of women that wanted that kid, but then complain about the children acting a fool later on. Childbirth, I get. I don't have that going on. So I haven't pushed a 16-pound, 15-ounce human being out of my body. But once that child gets here and it's on you to rear that child, and you're telling us that y'all don't need men, y'all don't want men, and then when that kid starts acting a fool at 15, now you need a man. Said it the other night with Broken Traditions in here. You may not need a man, fine, but your children do, particularly your boys. It's your sons, your grandsons, again, that are burning down these cities, cutting a goddamn fool. Because we wanted to do it Nikki Giovanni's way. How did it work out for us? We all know the answer to that. I'm not going to belabor the point. Gail says, black girl tragic. Oops. Yep. Gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing. Bro, we got to heal through some of this stuff too, because whether or not we like to admit it, I was at that young age. We were at that young impressionable age. That's where a lot of the simp culture came from. Somebody else said something I heard a couple of weeks ago, that the 90s R&B music was a masterclass in simping. So between these talk shows, when we were sitting there playing with our G.I. Joes and Transformers, and this stuff was subconsciously in our head that, you know, women can do better and everything else under the sun, that it seeped in there. Then we add on, we're teenagers now, we're hearing these lovey-dovey songs, then we become men and try to implement that shit. This is where so many brothers took losses. Because guess what? The sisters heard that, it empowered them, and now they don't need a man either. So it's gone from generation to generation to generation. I got it in my family. I know y'all probably got it in yours. There's at least 3 generations of women somewhere living together. Grandmama, mama, and the daughter. And then you start sprinkling in great babies and grandbabies and great grandbabies. The only hope we used to be able to have, I'll say probably up until about 10 years ago, the grandmothers that we grew up with, my age group, at least she had Big Daddy. But Granddaddy probably on the other side. Probably died 10, 15 years ahead of her. That's the only hope that we got. These new grandmothers, I don't know so much. That goes to Iyanla's point when she was speaking on the Breakfast Club. Whether, I know D. Scott says she's a gynecrat, she wants to lead from the back. Whether or not that's true, she at least had an example. Now, what she's lost, they're trying to change her mind, that's on her. But she had that example of some solid women still being with their men. Whether or not they were having fun, it was women around and they were covered up. Totally opposite now. And she said it herself, so many women are walking in their masculine. Only time a woman should be in that masculine energy if something happened to that man. And she got to defend those babies immediately. You get in it, you get those babies to safety, you get out of it. Staying in that shit is a choice, sisters. Let me explain that shit to you. This whole, we had to because the men weren't around, that's bullshit. You can't be a boss bitch. You can't be black girl magic or black girl tragic, as Gail said. You can't have all this shit going for you, and you cannot convince me that you were never approached by no solid ass dude. You just didn't want him until later on. Trust me, I've been that guy. This is why I'm on my tiger shit now. I done did the family stuff. I done tried to build it together. Been a solid ass father. I say it all the time. I don't get paid to lie to y'all. Hell, I'm not getting paid at all. So y'all need to share this shit and get me to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So I don't get paid at all. So I'm not here to lie to y'all. It's solid black men out here. Shahrazad Ali has been preaching for 40 years that the women need to get right. There's brothers on our side that need to do right too. But guess what? I can't tell my brothers to get right when so many women are willing to reward him for bad behavior by sleeping with him raw and then producing his legacy. I'm gonna slide over here to the comments. Mona D says 100. Corey Joe says, babyface, I'll buy your I'll buy your clothes. I'll buy your shoes. Matter of fact,
knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
I also said he was going to buy a house and all that stuff. Mona D says facts again. I've been on here cooking a minute, man. I'm going to go ahead and lock this thing down. We almost got a solid 2 hours in, man. We've had some great conversation today, man. I really appreciate y'all engaging with me in the chat. It does help me keep going. I have my talking points prepared. I have the videos prepared, but actually talking with other people on the other side of the screen, I really appreciate y'all. I mean, I can't say it enough. Broken Traditions, I appreciate you coming up here. Flawless Mentality, I appreciate you again for the name. Again, for those that missed it, we are now the Growth family. I want us to keep growing. I do want to get to that 1,000 subscribers. Shout out to Theo Coop. I don't know if he dropped in for a second, but salute to Theo Coop. He helped me get over the 900 threshold today when he was talking to his subscribers on his live. I'm almost there. I think I got another maybe 90 subscribers to get before I hit 1,000. Matter of fact, if there's somebody new and this is the first time you're watching my content, man, go ahead and drop me a subscription real quick. Let me see my animation come up while I finish up my last thoughts. Y'all drop y'all last thoughts in the chat as well. I'll put them up on the screen and we can expound on those. But if you're new to the content, you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button before you roll out. Y'all have been tearing up the like button tonight. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Dead Set says, we were promising things we didn't own. The sun, the wind, the moon, the stars, and the mountains.
Knocks down another 3-ball. This guy is hotter than fish grease here.
Look, we did it. Gail says, inside joke. This is an inside Alabama joke. Salute the burnt corn, Alabama. You found that shit, didn't you, Gail? I told you do your Googles, but you said you used to stomp around that way. One more talk. Oh, let me update this. And it's not your fault, Gail, but I got to update it. So I just changed my Instagram last night, so I'm going to update it. So next time around, when I get off this live, I'm going to update it. So now find me on Instagram at Growth Talk. That's together _Kofa. Growth Talk _Kofa. I had to go ahead and adjust that so you guys got another place to find me on socials. Again, Gail, that's not your fault. You're still the mob father. The mob mother. I still kiss the ring. Thank you for doing what you do.
You go, girl!
Corey Joe says the only few we still chop it up. Yes. We was in here solid tonight, had some great conversation. So thank you to the Growth family. Again, I'm your host, Kofa, Kofa, not coffee, not Kufu, not Kofi, or any variation thereof. This is Growth Talk Podcast. Gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing. I saw somebody else, like, if you're a new subscriber, a new viewer, hit subscribe real quick before we log off. Again, this is Growth Talk Podcast. Gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing. I appreciate everybody being in here. Salute to Quiet Storm. Brother, I appreciate you rocking with me as always. Gail says, okay, noted. Quiet Storm in here. Appreciate you as always being in here again, brother. But thank y'all for tuning in. Been a great live. Before you leave, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you follow Mona D. I think she probably slid off because she's getting ready for her live. But Mona, if you're in here, drop that link real quick. Let me see if I can get her link. Don't leave. I know I just did my whole little spiel, but I don't want to leave sis out. Let's do this. Click on this. Y'all stay with me because I at least wanted to pop up in the live chat. Go to her channel real quick. Come back. Come on, computer. Now it's freezing on me. Okay, there we go. Trying to drop Mona's channel in there. My computer's tripping. Trying to freeze on me. Okay, there we go. So I'm dropping Mona's link in the chat. Oh, there you go. Thank you, girl. Because my shit was moving slow as hell. You are great at your job, sis. My God. But again, I'm your host, Kofa, G.R.O.W.T.H Podcast. I appreciate everybody being in there. Make sure you watch out for the olders. Make sure you listen to the elders. Hope y'all had a good time. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to cook on, but I'm going to try to get the thumbnail out a little bit early. Big facts. And y'all are so appreciated. So appreciated. I'm dead serious. I would not be here if it weren't for y'all. But again, good night, y'all. I appreciate it. Slide over to Mona D's channel. Log in, because sister will be over there cooking too. But I'll see y'all tomorrow evening, probably around the same time. Hopefully these Knicks and these Lakers can get their mind right and pull out a win. And the Lakers can close their series out and the Knicks will survive. But love y'all. Peace. Oh, as always, brothers and sisters, you matter. You're not crazy. Make better choices. Peace.